One of the questions that I get asked the most often is, how do I get the time? I think this is great. I think everything that you're saying is great, but I just don't have the time to include it in my classroom because I have to cover the curriculum. And I always say, well, are we talking about coverage in education? Are we talking about uncoverage? Are we talking about students learning something, going in depth, or are we talking about just covering the curriculum and not really knowing whether students understand something? So I think that finding the time is a valuable question. I think it's a question that teachers have a right to ask because so much pressure is being put on them. I went into a classroom with a teacher who was teaching the Underground Railroad, and she was teaching it, it was a week's curriculum. And I asked her, what's the biggest problem that you face in teaching the Underground Railroad to second graders for a week? Why so long? And she said to me, well, you know, I still have a tough time because at the end of the week they think that the Underground Railroad is a train that goes underground. So I said, well, why don't we integrate this with the teaching of drama education, and let's take some drama activities and have the students experience the Underground Railroad rather than just studying the Underground Railroad in traditional methods. At the end of the second day, when we asked the students, what is the Underground Railroad, they could tell us in detail what it was, why it was, how it supported and helped people before the Civil War. It was interesting to the teacher because she said to me, well, now I've done this in 2 days, what do I do with my other 3 days? So it took us a little more time on those days. Her social studies unit was, usually she covered in about 20 minutes a day. We took 2 days, 40 minutes, but at the end of 2 days, not only did they all understand it, but she wasn't going to have to reteach it. They understood it deeply, and she had 3 days of time she could do something else.